Welcome to DRTSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shiva Prasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello and a warm welcome to Ravichandran Swaminathan ji. Sir, Vanakkam, Namaskaram. And an important topic, who is better than our own Ravichandran Swaminathan ji? What is an electoral bond? चुनाव की बॉन्ड क्या है ఎన్నికల బాండ్ ఏంది బాండ్ జేమ్స్ బాండ్ yes it is a James Bond. Why? Because this trial is going on since a long time in Supreme Court for best reasons known to Supreme Court why the trial had to be delayed, allowing these elections to assemblies to go on, and even 2024 parliament elections also in between, so many elections. Why? We don't know. We don't know why. So that is the reason why we are taking up this show. Supreme Court yesterday it has heard both the government and the others who have filed the case, and the Supreme Court has reserved its orders. Supreme Court లో ఎన్నికల బాండ్ అంటే ఏమిటి అంటే రాజకీయ పార్టీలకు డబ్బులు ఎవరిస్తారు? కంపెనీలు, కార్పొరేట్లు, లేకపోతే ఆ పార్టీని నచ్చి మెచ్చేవాళ్ళు, అంతే కదా. कौन चुनाव बॉन्ड क्या है? राजनीतिक दल को पैसा कौन देता है? व्यापारी, कारपोरेट संस्थाएं, या जो इन पार्टियों को या उनको समझते हैं और उनके ऊपर प्रेम है. लेकिन उसको छुप छुपा के देने की बात क्या है? सरकार ये कहती है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, हम नागरिक, हम जो वोटर महाशय है, हमको कोई हक नहीं है वो जानने की. देखिए, अब देखिए सरकार की, मैं एक बीजेपी सरकार की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, सब राजनीतिक दल, कांग्रेस हो या टीएमसी हो या एनसीपी हो, एआईएमआई हो, सब मिलजुल के है, एक है. क्योंकि कोविड-19 के समय ये बिल पास हुआ. అన్ని రాజకీయ పార్టీలు, కాంగ్రెస్ కానీ, బీజేపీ కానీ, ఏఎంఐఎం, బీఆర్ఎస్, డిఎంకే, లెఫ్ట్, అన్నీ ఒకటే అయినాయి. రాజకీయ పార్టీలకు డబ్బులు ఎవరైతే ఇస్తారో ఓటర్ మహాశయులకు దాని పట్ల సమాచారం ఇవ్వడానికి వీలు లేదని ప్రభుత్వం చెప్తుంది. ఇక చూడండి ఎంత అన్యాయం. ఈజ్ ఇట్ నాట్ ఇన్జస్టిస్ దట్ వీఆర్ సిటిజన్స్ అండ్ వీఆర్ ఎ కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ అథారిటీ? We are participating in elections to elect representatives from a political party to govern us for the welfare and development activities in a transparent and accountable way. So they are all public servants, elected public servants, selected IAS, IPS, they are all public servants only. Right from president to sarpanch, they are all public servants, including prime minister and chief minister. Then how come the voter citizens are not allowed any information on which party, how much money, which corporate company or someone else is funding them? That means all political parties have become one and they have passed this legislation. I'm not blaming NDA, BJP, Congress, AIMIM, DMK, BRS, TMC, Mamata Party, NCP, all have become one. See the democracy. All political parties have become one to tame democracy at the cost of democracy. अन्य राजकीय पार्टीలు ఒకటైన ఈ ప్రజాస్వామ్యాన్ని దెబ్బతీయడానికి सब राजनीतिक दल एक हो गए. क्यों? क्योंकि वो चुनौती दे रहे हैं संविधान के जोर पर. जो हम लोकतंत्र की बात करते हैं, उस लोकतंत्र की बात को चुनौती दे रहे हैं. Why Supreme Court is taking so much of time? Basic structure of constitution is very clear: free and fair election, no enticements come whatever may, no political party will have an advantage, elected franchise in a republic India are the supreme. Then the superiors, the constitutional authority, the citizens of India, the voters of India are not being provided any information in regards to funding of political parties on whose behalf we are going to elect representatives. See, that means, is there any corruption going on? क्या कोई भ्रष्टाचार की बात चल रही है? అవినీతి డబ్బు ఏదైనా ముందుకు వస్తుందా? ఎందుకు దాపెడుతున్నారు? क्यों छुपा रहे आप? Why are you hiding? And how long Supreme Court will go on and on and on? Is it not at the cost of democracy? So we will hear from Ravichandran Swaminathan ji. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy.
Welcome, sir.
So it's good to see you again after a long time.
I should say that. Wonderful to host you. And that one an important matter, sir. Important matter.
So electoral bonds are now in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has to decide whether they should publish the donors list, and for that purpose they have asked the Election Commission to provide the Supreme Court with details of the donors, complete data of the donors right from 2018 till date. Now, and they have reserved the judgment. They have raised certain questions regarding the sanctity of the electoral, regarding sanctity of the election itself, because there are a lot of issues which has cropped up. I have always maintained that our parliament or the legislative assemblies, they do not know how to frame a law. They do not know how to draft a law. Because some of the drafts that I have seen, some of the bills that I have seen, they contain so many errors. There is no deep level thinking behind the bill. When it is presented to the parliament. And when it is presented to the parliament also, the bills are passed without any discussion. 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. Important bills. Now take the case of this electoral bonds scheme. This is actually an amendment to the RBI, the Election Commission, the Representation of the People's Act. It is directly affecting the constitutional rights of the voter, the citizen voter. Technically speaking, it is a constitutional amendment bill. But what happened was, this bill was given as a money bill. It was part of the finance bill of 2018. Which means Rajya Sabha has got no oversight over it. If it is passed in Lok Sabha, it becomes a law. This is called sleight of hand. Technically, this should not have happened. But it has happened. And for 5 years, everybody is keeping quiet. Nobody is talking about it at all.
They have no idea.
This is, yeah.
So
first thing is how it was passed. It was passed as a money bill, as a part of the finance bill of 2019, if I am not mistaken, which should not have been done.
Yeah.
Because this is amending the RBI Act. This is amending the People's Representation Act. This is amending a host of other acts also. Now, having said that, you will be surprised to note that the RBI objected to this. The RBI objected to the electoral bond scheme.
Really?
Because they said that black money will come into the system. And if black money comes into the system, then it negates the very principle for which this electoral bond was issued. Because the electoral bond wanted to make white money come into the political system. And for that purpose, this electoral bond was scheme was started. Now what has happened is, instead of white money coming into the political system, contribution to the political parties, what has happened is, it is dirty money which is coming into the political system. Forget black money. It is dirty money which is coming into the system, and the government has framed the act in such a manner that not only the donors are kept anonymous, because some of the donors may require anonymity, they require some of their privacy. Now, it is not only the donor who is kept anonymous, the source of the money is also kept anonymous. The law is framed in such a manner. And these are some of the issues with the system itself. Now, if you see that electoral bond, which I have given a sample, can you put on that sample, sir?
Yeah.
PPT, that first page. This is the electoral bond. Now, the electoral bond, this is a sample of the electoral bond. Now, if you see the electoral bond, there is no identification number. Now, how does it work? Now, if I want to make a contribution of 10,000 rupees to the BRS, let me say the BRS, what I have to do is go to State Bank of India, Hyderabad. There is a designated State Bank of India, and there I go there and pay 10,000 rupees into that electoral bond account, and they will give me this bond paper. This is nothing but a temporary promissory note, which can be paid to the, which is to be paid to the bearer, any bearer. Because if you see the document, the name of the donor does not come anywhere. The name of the party to which it is bound, it is not coming there. It is not coming there in any manner. The only thing is, when I have to make a contribution of 10,000 rupees into this account, I have to do it either by way of a bank account or by digital means. Now, digital means will also include cryptocurrency. So, where is the source of the money? We don't know. Okay, now that account has to be KYC verified. The account from where the money is coming into this account should be KYC verified. Fine. That is a good thing. But how many banks really verify the KYC of the customers? If they were verifying it, Nigerian scams will not happen. Nigerian scams are happening because banks are not doing the KYC verification properly. And they do not know who the customer is also, because everything is digital. So, if one X company wants to make a contribution, I will put it in inverted commas. It is basically, if I want to bribe a party in power, so I will call up the party and tell them that I am prepared to make a contribution of 1 crore to your party funds. So I want to get this work done. So all that the company has to do is open up a shell company, transfer the amount to the shell company, and from the shell company they make the payment into the State Bank of India account, get the electoral bond. And once this bond is got, it is given to the party to be redeemed. So now if it is given to the ruling party, for example the BRS will have to present it at their registered account. Every party has got to have one account with State Bank of India where it is registered for receiving electoral funds. So now what I have to do is, I have to take this bond, I have to give it to the BRS person, and the BRS person will take it and deposit it in the electoral bond account, his party's electoral bond account, and immediately that amount will be credited to his account. So now, who knows about these transactions? It is only the State Bank of India, the donor who is making the payment, and the party to whom he has given the electoral bond. Only these three people know. Now, even State Bank of India will not actually know who the ultimate donor is if the money is coming through a shell company, because the entire electoral bond scheme is framed in such a way that even a loss-making company can contribute to the party's funds. No questions will be asked. So every shell company will be a loss-making company. It receives money from somewhere. It can receive cash also. And the beauty of this entire thing is, this entire thing favors only the ruling party, the party which is in power. So it is a clear scheme. Now, they can take money from anywhere, electoral bond scheme. And the entire, the adding insult to injury is, when these parties submit their accounts to election commission, all that they have to do is make these electoral bond accounts, all money received through electoral bonds, as received from unknown sources.
My God. Shame.
They don't have to disclose the name of the donor.
Then why should common man pay direct tax, income tax or indirect GST then? That is absolute nonsense.
Correct. Now, today, when you talk about GST, I want to give you a special information today. Today, the Finance Ministry, the GST Council of India, they have said that there is an amnesty to the GST now. They have issued an amnesty to GST where, without dispute, if you want to pay some amount and clear it out. And you know who is going to be the biggest beneficiary in this? It is the online gaming applications, because they have got a demand for almost about, I think about 2 lakh crores or something like that. 2.5 lakh crores payment GST demand is there on online gaming companies. Now, by opening this amnesty, the online gaming companies are going to take advantage of this amnesty and pay that amount, part amount, and get away with that. And the difference amount will probably go as electoral bonds to all the ruling parties in different states as well as the center.
It's a shame.
I don't know. God only knows.
After our show, she was very clear. She was trying to repent, but now again playing the old game to get back into power.
Power.
To get back.
So this is how this electoral bond system, entire electoral bond system is working.
I'll just put it in Telugu and Hindi, sir, in a just 1 minute
Yeah,
time.
please.
ఎలక్ట్రల్ బాండ్
Yeah,
అంటే ఈ
please.
విధంగా ఉంటుంది చూడండి. మీ స్క్రీన్ మీద ఉన్నది. ఇక్కడ ఎలక్ట్రల్ బాండ్ మనము మనము డీడీ ఇచ్చినా ఎవరికైనా డబ్బులు పంపినా నంబరు అవన్నీ ఉంటాయి. ఇక్కడ ఏ నంబర్ కానీ ఐడెంటిఫై అంటే దాని నంబర్ కానీ గుర్తించడానికి ఎటువంటిది సంఖ్య కానీ ఏమీ లేదు. आप देखिए खाली इलेक्ट्रल बॉन्ड किस तरह है 10 या 1000 का है, ना इसके ऊपर कोई नाम है या उसका ऑफिशियल कोई నంబర్ है, పేరు లేదు, అఫీషియల్ అధికారికంగా పేరు లేదు, ఆ సంఖ్య కూడా ఏమీ లేదు. అంటే గుడ్డిగా ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది, ఎవరు ఇస్తున్నారు మీకు తెలియదు. ఇంకా షెల్ కంపెనీల నుంచి వస్తే స్టేట్ బ్యాంక్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియాకు కూడా తెలియదు అసలు ఎవరు పంపిస్తున్నారు. ఆ డబ్బంతా వచ్చి ఎవరికి పోతుంది, ఇది ఎక్కువ కూడా పాలక వర్గాలకు, ఎవరైతే పాలకం కేంద్రంలో రాష్ట్రంలో పార్టీలు ఉన్నాయో వాళ్ళకే పెద్ద ఎత్తున పోతుంది. ఈ డబ్బు ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది అని చెప్పడానికి కూడా వీల్లేదు. ఎస్బీఐ ప్రతి పార్టీ పొలిటికల్ పార్టీ అకౌంట్ ఉంటుంది, దాంట్లోకి వేసుకుంటారు. దాని నుంచి మళ్ళీ డబ్బులు చేసుకొని ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్కి లెక్కలు ఇచ్చేటప్పుడు ఈ డబ్బు ఎక్కడిది అంటే ఇది మాకు తెలియదు, ఆల్రెడీ చట్టం వచ్చింది. ఆ విధంగా అంటే ఎంత అన్యాయం చూడండి. మనకేమో ఇక్కడ ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ మనం కొద్దిగా కట్టకపోతే పెనాల్టీలు వేస్తారు, అన్నీ వేస్తారు. జిఎస్టీ కట్టకపోతే కంపెనీలకు పెనాల్టీలు వేస్తారు. ఇక్కడ ఎన్నికల బాండ్లకు మటుకు డబ్బులు ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చినాయి చెప్పాల్సిన అవసరమే లేదు. ఎంత వచ్చింది, ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది, జస్ట్ వాళ్ళు ఎంత వచ్చింది చూపిస్తారు అంతే తప్ప ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది, ఎవరిచ్చారు, ఇది గేమ్ యాప్ నుంచి వచ్చిందా, ఆర్మ్స్ నుంచి వచ్చిందా, ఇప్పుడంతా యుద్ధ బేరీ నడుస్తూ ఉంది కదా, ఇక్కడ చూసినా ఆయుధాల కంపెనీల నుంచి వచ్చినాయా, డ్రగ్స్ కంపెనీల నుంచి వచ్చినాయా, మీకు చెప్పాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఇంత అన్యాయమా? ఇదంతా పాలక వర్గానికి మేలు చేయడానికి. आप देखिए कुछ भी संख्या नहीं है, ना किसी नाम है, और ये पूरा जो पालक जो वर्ग जो पार्टी केंद्र में और और राष्ट्र में शासन में है उनको काफ़ी फ़ायदा रहेगा। ना कोई कहाँ से आ रहा पैसा नहीं पता, किसने दे रहा नहीं पता। इलेक्शन कमीशन को भी जब अकाउंट देंगे राजनीतिक दल, खाली ये पैसा बताएंगे, लेकिन ये कहाँ से आया कुछ बताने की ज़रूरत नहीं। जब हम एक खरीदारी करते हैं, इनकम टैक्स का हमारे को नोटिस आता, उसके ऊपर पेनाल्टी डालते, उसी तरह जीएसटी है। लेकिन यहाँ इलेक्ट्रल बॉन्ड जो राजनीतिक दल को जा रहा, उसका हिसाब नहीं, किताब नहीं। और ये कहाँ से आ रहा पैसे, आम से आ रहा, ड्रग से आ रहा, कहाँ से आ रहा कोई अता नहीं, कोई पता नहीं। क्या इस तरह हमारी लोकतंत्र चलेगा? ఈ విధంగా ప్రజాస్వామ్యం నడుస్తుందా? Can democracy run this way? Sir, please.
So technically what the government has done is they have legalized corruption now. And they have said that you can do the corruption thing through the bank. That's all.
Shame.
No need of giving cash, you pay it through check in the form of electoral bonds. So this apart, now who can deposit, who can fund the parties?
Shall I show the
Anybody
second?
can fund it. No, yeah, you can show the second. Who can fund the parties? Now, the bonds are issued in denominations of 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 lakh and 1 crore. These are issued by the State Bank of India. Now, who can purchase these electoral bonds and give it to the parties? Anybody can do it. You can do it. I can do it. Dawood Ibrahim sitting in Karachi can do it.
Online gaming
George
apps.
Soros,
Online gaming apps.
George Soros, yes. George Soros sitting in America can do it. The Chinese people can do it through their online gaming apps. Online gaming companies which they are fronting. They can do it. Mahadev app could have done this. We don't know. Unless if this comes out, we will not know. And all parties are involved in this. All the parties are involved in this, and they have made it such that only parties which get 1% of the vote, total vote, only they will be eligible to get these electoral bonds, which means that is also there. So now only ruling parties can get it.
Shame.
So they have ensured that tomorrow if you start a party, you cannot get these electoral bond funds until you stand for election and get 1% of the vote, total vote.
This is not a free and fair election. Why Supreme Court is waiting? I don't understand.
No, it is not free and fair. There is no level playing ground.
No level
because
playing
you have
ground.
ensured
Yeah.
there is no level playing ground. You have ensured that only parties who are already can invest money and get that 1% of the votes, only they will be
It's a
eligible
shame.
to
It really
this electoral bond.
it beats my intelligence. How can Supreme Court reserve these orders? On just this basis itself, it could have struck down the entire legislation and it should have made electoral bonds very, very open, transparent. Because free and fair election means anyone, any political party, whether independents or political parties, can have a level playing field. Now, if a new party, and what about the independent now? He cannot get funds.
Independent can't do it. Yeah. They cannot get funds.
Independent candidates cannot get funds. Supreme Court, what are you doing? And small political parties, they cannot get fund until and unless they have this 1% of voting. What is this Supreme Court of India? And I hope this should be an eye opener for every citizen of this country, every voter of this country. కళ్ళు తెరవండి. 1% ఓట్లు ఉన్న పార్టీలకే ఈ ఎలక్ట్రల్ బాండ్స్ అంటే పార్టీ ఫండ్లు. అప్పుడు ఇది ఎట్లా స్వేచ్ఛాయుతంగా వాతావరణంలో అన్ని పార్టీలకు లేక ఇండిపెండెంట్ అభ్యర్థులకు, స్వతంత్ర అభ్యర్థులకు మేలు జరుగుతుంది. కేవలం పాలక పక్షాలకే మేలు కదా, వాళ్ళకే కదా 1% కానీ వాళ్ళ డబ్బులు వచ్చేది. అప్పుడు డబ్బులు కొందరికి కొన్ని పార్టీలకే వస్తే ఆ డబ్బులతోనే వాళ్ళు ఎన్నికలకు పోతే వేరే పార్టీలకు, కొత్త పార్టీలకు కానీ స్వతంత్ర అభ్యర్థులకు కానీ డబ్బు లేని విధంగా ఈ ఎలక్ట్రల్ బాండ్ చట్టాన్ని తెస్తే సుప్రీంకోర్టు ఎందుకు కొట్టేయడం లేదు? ఇది ఫ్రీ అండ్ ఫెయిర్ ఎలక్షన్ కాదు కదా. రాజ్యాంగబద్ధంగా ఎన్నికలు నిర్వహించే కార్యక్రమంలో స్వేచ్ఛాయుత వాతావరణంలో అందరికీ సమపాలంగా ఎన్నికలు జరిపే విధానం కదా. మరి ఆ సమతుల్యానికి తూట్లు పడిచేటప్పుడు సుప్రీంకోర్టు ఎందుకు ఊరుకుంటుంది? जो 1% 1% वोट आते हैं उन्हीं को ये इलेक्ट्रल बॉन्ड्स के रूप में ज़रिए उनको पैसे मिलेगा। तब छोटे पार्टियों की क्या हालत है और स्वतंत्र जो खड़े होना चाहते हैं उनकी हालत क्या है? इसी एक ये संविधान के खिलाफ है चुनाव प्रक्रिया जो भी है। खाली ये एक बस नहीं है सुप्रीम कोर्ट को ये कानून ख़त्म करने के लिए और इलेक्ट्रल बॉन्ड्स को सही तरीके से लोगों में लाने की। Yes, sir, please. It's a big point which you made. My goodness. Very big point.
This is one aspect. Now, the amount of money that is coming through electoral bonds is mind-boggling. More than and these bonds have to be redeemed by the parties within 15 days of issue. That means it has got a shelf life of only 15 days. After 15 days, this money will go into the Prime Minister's fund, disaster relief fund. So that is another thing. Now, money has to be paid into the State Bank of India account only through KYC verified accounts or digital means. Now we know that how digital means, digital as well as KYC is more observed in breach than in practice. Very few banks actually verify the KYC norms. And digital, you know, it is a opaque this thing. So, technically speaking, you have now covered the anonymity of the donor, you have protected the anonymity of the donor, you have also protected the anonymity of the source of the funds.
My God.
Now, you don't know whether the funds are coming from George Soros, whether it is coming from Dawood Ibrahim, whether it is coming from China, or whether you and I have given it. Is this level of protection required? Number one. Now, the purpose of these electoral bonds. What is the purpose of these electoral bonds? The purpose of these electoral bonds is to enable parties or people who are standing for elections to serve the people. So they should have some money to reach out to people to prepare their ask for votes and all that. It is purely to be used for election purposes. Now, once the money goes into the party's account, there is no account of how it is being utilized.
Yes, that's a great one. Everyone, small political parties now, even BJP, Telangana, BRS, they are flying helicopters, their candidate to campaign. From where they are getting money, God knows. And All India Majlis Ittihadul Muslimin, relegated to Old City, it goes and contests in Uttar Pradesh as far as Assam also. And he is flying. OIC is also flying. From where are they getting funds? Who is funding them? These electoral bonds. China, through online games. Soros, George Soros. And as he said, Dawood Ibrahim, who is funding? That means entire election funding, if it goes into the wrong hands like China or George Soros or others, what would be the fate of democracy in India? George Soros gaani China ద్వారా డబ్బులు ఎన్నికల బాండ్ల ద్వారా వస్తే ఆ ఎన్నికల ద్వారా ఎన్నుకున్నటువంటి రాజకీయ పార్టీల ప్రతినిధులు వాళ్ళు ఎవరికి పనిచేస్తారు? చైనాకా, జార్జ్ సోరోస్కా, దావూద్ ఇబ్రాహింకా? అంటే మొత్తం ప్రజాస్వామ్యం కూని ఖతమయ్యేటువంటి ప్రమాదం, భారతదేశాన్ని ఖతం చేసేటువంటి కుట్ర కాదా? क्या ये एक बड़ी साजिश नहीं है? कौन दे रहा पैसा, कहाँ से आ रहा है पैसा और किस तरह हम चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं? लड़ने के बाद कौन सरकार में आ रहा है और जैसे ये पैसे कहाँ से आ रहा, चाइना से आ रहा, जार्ज सोरोस से आ रहा। कल के दिन चुनाव होने के बाद अगर सरकार को ऐसे लोग उनके हाथ में गया तो भारत का स्वतंत्रता रहेगा, लोकतंत्र बरकरार रहेगा क्या? सर प्लीज, वंडरफुल सर.
So now, just to give you an idea about how much money is coming through electoral bonds, more than 9,500 crores have come in through electoral bonds. And out of this, the next
Yeah.
9,208 crores was sold between 2018 and 2022. I am not talking about 2023. And the ruling party, BJP, secured 58% of the total money.
My God.
Now, 66% of the total income of the national parties have come from electoral bonds and known sources. I am talking about national parties like BJP, Congress, Trinamool Congress, National Congress Party, CPI, CPIM, and the Meghalaya-based National People's Party. All these parties have shown 66% of their income as coming from electoral bonds.
Shame.
And
Shocking.
in the latest, 10 regional parties have shown 93.26% of their entire income from unknown sources.
Now you see. Unknown sources,
And
that is
out
what
of this,
BRS. Now what is happening to Kaleshwaram Dam? Where did that money go? 1 lakh crores money. Unknown sources. Now Kaleshwaram Dam, Medigadda is sinking. National Dam Safety Authority has given a report that this Kaleshwaram Dam cannot be functional now. Cannot store water or cannot pump water. 1 lakh crores. Now who is funding BRS? Similar way, DMK, BJD, and same like BJP, Congress, Trinamool Congress, CPI, CPM. What is this going on? Yes, sir.
no, the beauty of it is, as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, DMK, which came to power 2 years back, they have suddenly shown the maximum amount is coming through electoral bonds. All of a sudden.
How can? From where did
356 crores.
DMK Stalin ji, your son Udayan,
300 crores has come through electoral bonds.
Mr. Uday Stalin.
96,
That's what I'm questioning. Uday Stalin.
96%.
96%. Mind boggling.
96% of the regional parties like DMK, BJD and BRS. I am talking only about these three parties. DMK, Biju Janata Dal and Bharat Rashtriya Samiti. These three parties alone account for 757 crores or 96% of their total income as coming from electoral bonds or unknown sources.
Election Commission of India, it is shameful. How can elections be fought this way? So much of fund for one political party, from where? Supreme Court of India, why are you still waiting? 3 fundamental constitutional violations on your screen. How can one political party here, DMK, BJD and BRS, account for 757.16 crores? They are regional parties, unknown sources. That means from electoral bonds, unknown sources, 96%. Who is funding them? George Soros? Gaming apps, China? Or all those companies involved in sinking of Kaleshwaram Dam like structures? Those corporate infrastructure companies who are involved in corruption. I am not saying Dam Safety Authority of India, Mr. Modi and Amit Shah, they said ATM, anytime money, Kaleshwaram for KCR, and anytime money, Polavaram for Chandrababu Naidu. These were the people who have been stating that. And I don't understand Election Commission of India in a sleeping mode. And Supreme Court of India sitting on this for such a long time. Again reserving it orders, allowing these ruling parties who is getting so much of money, again if they utilize this money to buy votes, to entice voters and to see that there is no free and fair election. Can democracy survive, Supreme Court of India? Please, sir. Big revelation. Thanks to you. Wonderful.
Now, this selling of electoral bonds is not done every day throughout the year. It is done only on specific occasions, I think 4 or 5 occasions just before the elections. So now you have states, elections in the states, and they have opened up the electoral bond sales. But this time, I think they have opened it up yesterday or today, they have opened it, selling of electoral bonds. But this time, I am looking at a decrease in the amount of electoral bond sales. I am looking at a decrease in the electoral bond sales because now Supreme Court has reserved its orders and it has asked the Election Commission to provide them a list of the donors who have given money to the different political parties between 2018 to 2023 September. Which means now people will be wondering whether to go in for this electoral bonds, purchase of these electoral bonds, because they will be afraid that their names will come out tomorrow. And if their name come out, then we will know the elusive bond. It is not the electoral bond. It is the elusive bond which is linking the political to the corporate or to the criminal. And that will be exposed. And hopefully that will be exposed. It is the electoral bond, the elusive bond between linking the politician to the corporate or to the criminal. So basically this is the scam. This is the electoral bond scam, totally. Number one, it has undermined the representation of people's level ground, playing ground for all people who stand for elections. Number two, it has shown a way where money from outside countries or individuals can influence this country's elections by pumping in money. That is why all the parties are willing to give 1,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees for votes. Our famous Tirumangalam type of elections, where they buy votes. And where the money is coming from here. If today DMK party is willing to give 1,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees, where does the money come from? It is coming from the electoral bonds, because they are not giving any account for how they are utilizing the funds that have come through the electoral bonds. There is no accounting. So this is the scam that I wanted to talk to you about today.
Wonderful. Wonderful. But why Supreme Court is taking so much of time, sir?
So Supreme Court, basically they want to know. See, even the Election Commission does not have the list of donors who have given money to their political parties. So now Election Commission has to ask the political parties to give the list of donors who have given them money through electoral bonds.
They cannot ask SBI.
They cannot ask SBI because it is confidential. Unless it is a legal requirement, they cannot ask SBI. And even if they ask SBI themselves do not know. If it is a shell company, how will they know who the donor is?
But still they have collected. But they have collected money under electoral bonds.
Yeah, they have done it. See, after all, as a bank, they are interested only in the money aspect of it. Now, if 9,500 crores comes in and is with the bank for a period of 15 days, you just calculate the interest that they are earning on that. Why should they be bothered about where the money is originating or who is giving the money, as long as they have the money and they can utilize it, but they are interested only in the interest portion. 15 days, if they have that, hold that money in their account, it is free money for them. They don't pay any interest on it. It is interest free, by the way, these bonds are all interest free. Actually, these are not bonds. This is a way to protect, supposedly to protect donors from revealing their identity. Because it is quite possible that every corporate house is giving money to every political party except in different ranges. And the ruling party will get the maximum. That is how it has been prepared. That is why I said in the beginning, we do not know how to prepare laws properly. That is the main problem. This electoral bond scheme itself could have been, if it has been drafted properly with a forethought, thinking about how it can be abused, misused. If they had that in mind, this could have been drafted in a better manner. Same thing as what has happened in the Data Protection Act. Now, incidentally, when I talk about the Data Protection Act, now the question comes in. Data Protection Act says that a data principal who has given his consent to collection of his name or data, personal data, can also withdraw it. Now in this case, the donor, he has given his name and he has given the check. Now if he wants to tell the bank, you cannot, because when the bank took the donor's money, the contract is that the donor's name will be kept confidential. Now, if this is exposed, then you are violating the Personal Data Protection Act.
See how they have linked.
Now, what is going to now tell me which act is going to how is the Supreme Court going to judge between these two acts? That is why I said the legislator does not know how to draft a proper bill. The wording of the bill, the sections in the bill, and the purpose of why the bill is being brought in the first instance. This bill was brought to protect the donor's privacy. If it had limited itself to that, then it would have been good. But they also, what they did was they protected the source of the money also, which is bad. And that is why this entire thing has come out now. And that they restricted it to only certain parties, which means the main independent smaller parties, they are left out of the picture. Then how is it a level playing field? Then what is the democracy that we are talking about? This is not democracy, this is oligopoly.
Wonderful.
Today, if Ambani or Adani or somebody else decides that only my man should become the Prime Minister or the Chief Minister of a state, they can do it. It is after all money only.
Wonderful.
So, अभी आपका comment के लिए है.
Wonderful. I have to. Now it is very clear, Supreme Court of India and Election Commission of India. Likewise, I am addressing every citizen voter of India. Do you want your vote to elect representative to the assembly so that they can elect chief minister, representative to the Lok Sabha so that they can elect Prime Minister of India, or you want these electoral bonds funded by corporates or companies to elect their own representatives as chief ministers and prime ministers of India? That means the democracy which we are talking, people participatory constitutional democracy, if you vote, if you control, and if the election is free and fair and level playing, if the electoral bond money goes to everyone by revealing the source, not with 1% votes, then it will be people participatory constitutional democracy. Still even there, no enticements, no threats. Just because they are in ruling party, they should not have advantage. But if you do not want that, if you want electoral bonds, still Supreme Court has not pronounced its judgment. Electoral bonds, sources not known. From where this money is coming, no, we don't know. And this money will be given to only those parties with 1% vote share. That means new political parties, independents, small political parties, they will not get any fund for contesting elections. And this fund has to be utilized only for elections. Is it being utilized only for elections? You see how local political parties are flying in helicopters. Independents, they don't have source. Small political parties, they don't have source. And AIMIM president, he flies in Uttar Pradesh in the helicopter. A small party relegated to Hyderabad, which does its votes only through a community. Likewise, same in Kerala, some political parties. Same way in Karnataka. Same way in Maharashtra or other areas. These small political parties catering to one community or small section, they are getting more amounts, like DMK. From where did they get so much of amounts? Why electoral bonds they could purchase and they could get so much of amount through electoral bonds? Why? And is it not a big concern for Supreme Court of India, Election Commission of India, that the parties in ruling are getting more fund through electoral bonds? If that is the case, is it a free and fair election? Is it a level playing ground for all political parties? Is it not against the basic structure of Constitution? Then and there itself, Supreme Court should have struck down this legislation. Election Commission of India is a sleeping mode. I am the complainant right from 2018. So many complaint IDs the other day, yesterday also. And I am a complainant on the educational qualifications of Honorable Prime Minister of India. That is why he ran to change the nomenclature of electing election commission. He was proposing Prime Minister, opposition leader and a cabinet minister. We came out a show with B.V. Acharya. He said it should have been Chief Justice of Supreme Court, but he advised Supreme Court of Chief Justice, don't you get into that electing election commissioners. Allow some good Samaritan from the society. So tomorrow if something goes wrong, at least it will come to Supreme Court or High Court. So legal scrutiny will always be there. Independence of judiciary will always be there. This is all why to maintain, to uphold constitutional democracy, people participatory constitutional democracy. And how is that the government which is elected by the vote of the people and all the citizens are the constitutional authority, right from Prime Minister to Chief Minister, they are public servants. Cabinet Secretary to Chief Secretary, they are just nothing but public servants. How can these two sections try to suppress the will of the people? That means India. Can you do that? How is that you are stating information cannot be provided to citizens or voters? What is this nonsense? And how can Supreme Court allow such type of argument to go on? It says voters or citizens have no right to know the information. Who the hell you are? A political party, bloody, you are a representative elected by me. You are my servant. How can a servant dictating terms to an authority, an owner? Citizens of the country, India, who the hell you are? And again he says, Solicitor General, and another comment, why they are so curious? It is a curiosity. Who the hell you are? You are a Solicitor General. You are being paid by the taxes of the, paid by the people. Direct taxes, income tax, indirect through GST, so all those taxes. And here in electoral bond, Solicitor General, unknown sources, and they need not pay any interest. Is it the way to run a country, Mr. Solicitor General? Even if government asks you to represent in the Supreme Court, is this the way? You are a learned counsel. You are a superior law officer. You should guide every common citizen. But how is that you are arguing in that way? Your comments on this, sir, before we wind up.
See, for example, BRS, Bharatiya Rashtra Samiti, for your information or your interest, they have got 291 crores.
My God.
Through electoral bonds. Through electoral bonds, they have got 291 crores. DMK has got 300 crores. Biju Janata Dal has got 300 crores.
From where did they get so much of money? Why they are getting so much of money?
Unknown sources. They don't have to say it according to the electoral bond scheme.
It is the same Election Commission of India. It's a shame. This is not a free and fair election. Yes, sir.
It is not a free and fair election.
It is not.
It is an election for the haves, only corporates or some criminal elements, some people who want to influence how the election goes. Only these people can do it. Some countries. This is how it is happening today as far as electoral bonds are concerned. But unless the people start talking about it, unless the people start discussing about it, nothing is going to happen. And it is good that channels like you are talking about it. Only thing is, there will be more publicity for what you are to do.
We will repeat it, sir. We will repeat it now because whenever I do a show, I am tagging it. I tag the show. Right from Prime Minister, President, Election Commission, Supreme Court, High Courts, all political parties I tag. So at least they are becoming, including the people, the honorable citizens. Yes, sir, your passing comment.
That's it. There's nothing more to say on this other than that the electoral bonds should be made more transparent. And I don't know, why should a donor be anonymous? Why should he feel shy about giving money to a political party who is believing in that ideology? Unless he has got a vested interest in that party winning.
Or that money is not, or that money is not legal money.
Or it is not legal money. Correct. or it is not legal money, or it is coming from George Soros or from China. Only then they should be bothered about it. Otherwise, if I want to contribute to BJP, I should be able to go and say, okay, I am supporting BJP, I am giving this money to BJP. Why should I feel sorry about, sad about it, or why should I feel shy about it? If I am correct, if what I am doing is legally correct. It is as simple as that. And unless that attitude comes in, no matter how many acts that they pass, it is not going to work out. Thank you.
వండర్ఫుల్. సో ఇది ఈరోజుది డబ్బులు, ఎలక్ట్రల్ బాండ్ ద్వారా వచ్చే డబ్బులు రాజకీయ పార్టీలకు. చూడండి, బీఆర్ఎస్కు, బీజేడీకి, డిఎంకేకు ఎక్కువ డబ్బు ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది? ఎందుకు ఇంత డబ్బు వస్తుంది వాళ్ళకు? మరి వీళ్ళకు డబ్బు వచ్చినప్పుడు మిగతా పార్టీలు, ఇక్కడ స్వతంత్ర అభ్యర్థులు మిగతా పార్టీలకు అదే రకంగా ఎన్నికల బాండ్ల ద్వారా, ఎలక్షన్ బాండ్ల డబ్బు రాకపోతే ఇది ఫ్రీ అండ్ ఫెయిర్ ఎలక్షన్ అంటే రాజ్యాంగబద్ధంగా ఎన్నికలు ఎలా అవుతాయి? ఒక పార్టీకి ఎక్కువ డబ్బులు, ఇంకో పార్టీకి అసలు డబ్బులే లేవు. ఇదా ఎన్నికలు? మొదటి దెబ్బల్లో కొట్టేయాలా? ఈ డబ్బు ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చిందో చెప్పాల్సిన అవసరం. అంటే జార్జ్ సోరోస్ నుంచి వచ్చిందా? ఆన్లైన్ గేమ్స్ చైనా వాళ్ళ దగ్గర నుంచి వచ్చిందా? దావూద్ ఇబ్రాహిం నుంచి వచ్చిందా? ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది ఈ డబ్బు? ఆ వచ్చిన డబ్బు ద్వారా ముఖ్యమంత్రులు, ప్రధానమంత్రులు ఎన్నుకోబడితే రేపు మన దేశం ఎవరి చేతిలోకి పోతుంది? ఓటర్ మహాశైలారా ఆలోచన చేయండి. ఇంత పెద్ద తప్పిదం జరుగుతుంటే సుప్రీంకోర్టు దీనిపై తక్షణమే ఆర్డర్ ఇవ్వాలా. పారదర్శకంగా, జవాబుదారితనంతో వారు చెప్పినట్టు, ఎస్ నేను బీజేపీకి నమ్ముతాను, నేను కాంగ్రెస్ నమ్ముతాను, నేను ఏఐఎంఐఎంని, నేను బీఆర్ఎస్ని నమ్ముతాను, బీజేడీ, డిఎంకేని, ఆర్ సిపిఐ, సిపిఎం, నేను ఈ పార్టీ డబ్బులు ఇస్తున్నా అని చెప్పాలి. ఎందుకు దాచుకోవాలి? ఎందుకు భయపడుతున్నారు డోనర్లు? వాళ్ళని ఎందుకు దాస్తున్నారు? అంటే దాని అర్థమైంది, ఇది అవినీతి డబ్బా. ఇప్పుడు మేడిగడ్డ కాళేశ్వరంలో కుంగిపోయింది కాంట్రాక్టర్లు. ఆ కాంట్రాక్టర్ల నుంచి తీసుకున్న డబ్బు బయటికి తెలవకూడదానా? దీంట్లో కేంద్రం బాధ్యత కూడా ఉంది కదా. జలవనరుల శాఖ ఉట్టిగా కళ్ళు మూసుకొని ఉంది కదా. అంటే వాళ్ళకు డబ్బులు ముట్టినట్టేనా? అంటే ఇవన్నీ బయటికి రాకుండా ఉండడానికా? అవినీతి డబ్బా? కరెక్ట్గా చట్టబద్ధంగా సంపాదించిన డబ్బు రాజకీయ పార్టీలకు ఎలక్ట్రల్ బాండ్స్ ద్వారా ఇస్తున్నప్పుడు దాని ద్వారా పారదర్శకత, జవాబుదారితనం ఎందుకు లేదు? రెండవది, 1% ఓటర్లు ఉన్న పార్టీలకే ఎందుకు డబ్బు ఇవ్వాలి? ఎన్నికలు అన్నప్పుడు అందరూ సరి సమానంగానే ఉండాలి కదా. అదే కదా రాజ్యాంగం చెప్పేది. సో ఇవి ఆలోచన చేయండి. हम यही यहाँ से हम अपील करते हैं, हमारे सार्वजनिक अपील जो अमित शाह जी कहते हैं हर एक नागरिक को, वोटर महाशय को, अगर ये सही पैसा है तो क्यों हिचकिचाहट, क्यों डरते हो आप क्यों आके नहीं बोलते चलो मैं दे रहा हूँ, बीजेपी, कांग्रेस हो या कम्युनिस्ट हो या बीआरएस हो, ममता पार्टी हो या एनसीपी हो या शिवसेना हो, क्यों नहीं बोल रहे आप? आपको क्यों छुपाया जा रहा है? क्या ये सही तरीके से कानूनी के तौर पर कमाई नहीं है क्या? अगर इस तरह है, अगर ये ऑनलाइन गेम जो चाइना कंट्रोल करती है और जॉर्ज सोरोस या दाऊद इब्राहिम ऐसे लोग अगर पैसे लगा के उसके द्वारा अगर राजनीतिक दल उम्मीदवार मुख्यमंत्री बनता या प्रधानमंत्री मरता, हमारी देश की रक्षा कौन करेगा? भविष्य क्या होगा हमारे देश की? किसके हाथ में हमारे लोकतंत्र जाएगा? क्या ये लोकतंत्र, संविधान लोकतंत्र बरकरार बनाया रहेगा? सोचिए, आलोचना చేయండి. Think at least now. Force, write a letter to Supreme Court of India, Election Commission of India, right from President to the Sarpanch, making them to understand how dangerous this is. And first I want every citizen, every voter to understand. Otherwise, vote will have no value. Only note, that too unknown sources, that means illegal note, will be ruling over your vote. That means people participatory constitutional democracy will be in peril. We will lose all our freedom. We will become enslaved once for all if you don't act now. It is a wake-up call for every citizen, every voter of India. Thank you very much, sir, and I am going to repeat this as you rightly said. Monday, we are going to repeat this on Citizens DRTSPR channel. Do support DRTSPR channel, Citizens DRTSPR channel. and environment people, DRTSPR channel, they're all in larger public interest only. Anyone can participate. My mobile number is 94404 65339. Wonderful guests like Ravichandran Swaminathan ji are eagerly waiting to host you. Prove us wrong. But if you are right, you have to act, and Supreme Court should pronounce the judgment at the earliest to save people participatory constitutional democracy. And if the elections are to be held in a free and fair way, as per the basic structure of the Constitution, Supreme Court, you act now and you see to that Election Commission of India comes back to session type of ways where transparency and accountability will reign supreme over illegal or unknown sources of funding, enticements and threats, which will nothing but put the democracy in peril. Thank you very much, sir. Good night.
Good night.